This is Rock and Roll English. Real people, real English. Here's your host, Martin Johnston.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Rock and Roll English, episode number 230, baby. Oh yeah. In today's episode, I speak to Clarification Charlie. Well, kind of. We actually had a bit of a problem, okay? But using a bit of R&R creativity, I think I have a fantastic episode for you nonetheless. A lovely piece of vocabulary there, nonetheless. So in spite of the problems, I still have a fantastic episode for you. A very unique episode, because in all of the 230 episodes of Rock and Roll English, you will have never heard one like this, because this is the only one, okay? Because in this episode, I basically have a conversation with myself, okay? And let me tell you why. When I record the podcast with one of the guests, Clarification Charlie, Boom Boom, Dan the Man, the Hellraiser, whoever, we do it like this. I record my audio on my computer and the guest records his or her audio, okay? We have the conversation and then at the end, the guest of the podcast sends me the audio and I put both of the tracks together, and in this way I can guarantee you some smoking hot audio, baby. So, for example, in this episode, I spoke to Clarification Charlie. We had the conversation. I recorded my audio. She recorded hers, or she was supposed to, okay? Because she actually forgot to record her audio. Even if, before recording, we always say, hit record after 3. 1, 2, 3, boom, we hit record. But obviously there was a problem, okay? And Clarification Charlie noticed this problem after 22 minutes of recording. So right at the very end of the podcast. So my options were, number 1, completely destroy the podcast. Number 2, try to use the sound that my microphone had picked up of Clarification Charlie, because sometimes my microphone hears, for example, Clarification Charlie talking through my headphones. So I thought I could amplify that, but it sounds like this. Not a great option. Another option was to record the podcast again with her, but I tried that once in the past with Dan the Man after the same thing happened, and let me tell you, it's impossible, because you tell the same stories, the reactions are not real, and that is not rock and roll English. Rock and roll English is real English, real people, as you know. So I basically thought, I'm fucked. We have to destroy the podcast. Clarification Charlie was obviously distraught, very upset. In fact, listen to her here.
Oh, I felt awful. I'm so sorry. I haven't done this ever.
That was taken from the family podcast that we recorded afterwards, where she did remember to hit record. But then I had an idea, okay? Because every time I edit a podcast, I notice that I speak for about 75-80% of the time. Yes, I talk a lot. You have to if you're a podcaster, don't you? It comes with the job. So I thought to myself, we still have about 80% of a podcast here. Plus, we have some great stories here in this podcast. It would be a crime to waste these stories. And I also thought of something else, okay? Because in Rock and Roll English, we have kind of routines, don't we? Of you know what's coming. Just like I do in my classroom when I teach children. We have routines so everyone feels at home. Everyone knows what's happening. For example, with the children in my classroom, when they arrive, I say, take out your books, take out your pencil case, let's do the register, check your homework, all in the same order every lesson. And with Rock and Roll English, it's hello, review, what are we talking about? So I thought many of the gaps in the conversation you can actually fill in for yourself. So that's what I want you to do today. I want you to use your imagination sometimes, okay? Imagine what Clarification Charlie said, and I think you will be able to understand more than you think, okay? Sometimes as well from my reaction. And sometimes I will help you because I've edited the podcast to give you a little bit of help and also to make the experience rock and roll as always. So here is the conversation. Not sure if you can actually call it a conversation because I'm essentially speaking to myself. But I guarantee, absolutely guarantee, you will have never heard a podcast like this in your life. Okay, so it's an experience, if anything else, and here it is. This is me telling you the things they don't tell you about becoming a parent. Happy listening. Clarification, Charlie. How are you today? Always fantastic. Always fantastic. Even more, I'm now talking to you. Just yesterday, I did a Facebook Live and someone said to me, "Where is Clarification, Charlie?" And I said, "Don't worry, she will be back." Okay, she will be back. That's not the reason I asked you to do a podcast. I had already asked you before. Okay. So yes, giving the people what they want. Clarification, Charlie is back. Yes, so it's been a while since you've been on the podcast, but do you remember how we start the show? Okay, do you think we have a review? That's the correct answer. So say it. So you can say it. So yes, it's from, I'm going to be more confident of just saying this because that's the advice I had, which I think was good advice. It's from Nguyen Dang Hoi. Okay, I'm sure that was perfect pronunciation. And it says, "Hi Martin and Dan the man." So he must be listening to the old podcast here. "I'm from Vietnam. After a while listening to Rock and Roll English, I've become addicted to your wonderful podcast. Your chats, your great sense of humour, my morning rituals. I'm enjoying your podcast while sipping a cup of coffee. It's generally a part of my everyday life. I can't thank you guys enough for your good work." Oh. So thank you very much for that, Mr. Hoy. Mr. Hoy is, I think, the easier route for pronunciation. Indeed. Very happy to be part of your daily routine. Anyway, Clarification, Charlie, do you know what we're talking about today? Well, don't worry, okay? Because I thought the last time we spoke, I just entered this parenthood game, okay? So now I'm a bit more clued up, so nice vocabulary there, so I'm a bit more informed of how this parenthood thing works, okay? Obviously, I'm an expert now because I've been doing it for 3.5 months, so an expert, exactly. So I thought we could talk about the things that people don't tell you about being a parent, okay? Just in case anyone's considering it, we want to give people the full picture, okay? So the full picture, we want to give you all of the details because I've certainly noticed some things that I didn't think I would, okay? At this point, Clarification Charlie tells us that she has a great story about something that happened to her as a parent very recently, but we will come back to this later in the show. Absolutely brilliant, okay? That's why we're here, okay? That's why we're here. I mean, if that's not an incentive to keep on listening to this podcast, I don't know what is. So the first thing I've got here, which I really didn't expect to be a problem, were stories are difficult, okay? So I've started reading stories already to baby R&R, she's got absolutely no idea what's going on, but I thought I'm going to crack on with it. I'm going to keep doing it. I don't care. I've got 2 problems. Number 1, some of the vocabulary in these stories is too complicated for me. And I'm thinking this is for not even children. This is for newborn children, this book. And I still can't understand some of the words. When I read some of the stories, I'm trying to pronounce the words. It sounds like when I'm trying to pronounce the name of the person that's left the review on the podcast. It's just an absolute nightmare. No wonder she's not interested in the stories. And honestly, so I was reading a story the other day as well. And so it was about a pussycat, okay? And I'm going to read, this is actually taken from the story, okay? It said, "Oh, lovely pussy. Oh, pussy, my love. What a beautiful pussy you are," okay? And I'm sure everyone's familiar that the word pussy, without the word cat, has a very different meaning, okay? Women's bits, let's say. And there I am reading what I would consider X-rated material to my daughter that's 3 months old. What a beautiful pussy you are. The words couldn't come out of my mouth. I was just like, I can't do this.
Is that the owl?
Didn't understand that bit? Hey, I told you it was not a good idea to amplify the sound that my microphone picked up. But what she actually said was, is the story you're talking about called The Owl and the Pussycat? Yeah, I think so. But, why didn't the writer include the word cat? Like, oh, lovely pussy cat. Not just, oh, lovely pussy. You're a beautiful pussy. Include the word cat, okay? At this point, Clarification Charlie tells us a story about a time when she was at school, secondary school, and she had to read the story of The Owl and the Pussycat to all of the school. If you think that's strange, so do I. As you will hear now. So you're talking about when you were in secondary school, so high school. So when you said when you were 18, why are you still reading children's stories at that age? Of course, yeah, a lovely term there, straight face. So basically try not to laugh, to keep your face straight, not moving. Because that's the thing, once it starts moving, you're gone. You can't hold it in anymore. So yes, so be careful of those children's stories, okay? So another thing I've got here on my list are the songs of the toys and stuff. They just fucking drive you up the wall. They make you crazy. Like it will be on for like an hour and you think, look, I've been listening to this shit for 1 hour. Can we not just fucking switch it off? But I've also noticed many of them I recognise from my time in football stadiums, because I didn't realise that the football chants, we call them, the songs in football stadiums, have been taken from these. She's got one where it goes, yeah. Why don't City fuck off home? See, that's how it goes at the football stadium. So she's playing with her toys, and then I'm just singing along, going, why don't City fuck off home? Oh shit, no, sorry, yeah, shouldn't be doing that. I find myself humming these songs all the time. Okay, so that was my impression of Clarification Charlie. It didn't really work, but what I was trying to say was repeat what she said, which was, I find myself humming these songs all the time. So humming as well is a nice verb. When you that's humming. Basically what I spent all of my life doing in church, because I went to a Catholic primary school, and when there's singing in church, never sing, just hum. Even at a birthday party, everyone sing happy birthday. I'm always one. That's enough. I'm making the noise. Okay, I'm not actually singing, but I'm making the noise, and that's enough. And speaking of songs as well, another thing I like to do, this is one of the good things, is have a bit of a boogie with Baby R&R. So have a dance. I've got this like big speaker now. We have a dance. And I thought, I want to put a song on that I know, right? And I put on La Long. You know that one? Which is La Long. Yeah, so and I know all the words. I'm singing along. And then it got to this bit where it said, like, and I've got this to say to you, girl, I want to make you sweat. Sweat till you can't sweat no more. And if you cry, I'm going to push it some more. And then I was thinking, I'm singing this again, very X-rated. I'm singing if you cry, I'm going to push it some more. And I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, change the song. I had a teacher called Mr. Lalonde. Oh Jesus! Just at the time when the song came out in the 90s. Oh, that's exactly what I was about to say. I bet he's just like, oh, for fuck's sake. That must be so annoying. I bet that's followed him for his whole life as well. Jesus. Mr. Lalonde, if you're listening, I feel sorry for you. Okay. So another one we've got here, the big one, is the poos. Okay. People just don't, I think, fully understand how bad that can get. Is this the same for you? Also, here we are at the story. Okay. Yep. We're ready. Get your popcorn ready, people. Always maintain low expectation, sure. So this is obviously the part where Clarification Charlie tells us the story, okay? Now, I want you to imagine what happened based on my reaction, because I do mention a few details, so just use your imaginations and let them take you to another place, okay? I like how he used gravity against the poo, because the poo wants to go down, so he thought, I'll turn the baby upside down so the poo has to kind of just go up. Yeah, I mean, the plate though. Why did you have a plate? And was this a dinner plate? Have that for dinner. Have the poo for dinner. Okay, we've got something else for dinner tonight, Mr. Clarification Charlie. Okay, here, just serve up that poo on a plate. What a beautiful way to describe it. Chocolate log. Log is a way to describe poos, by the way. And yeah, I mean, what a lovely image that is. But yeah, I've had a similar thing as well. Taken her into the bath. I was just holding her above the bath water, and then poo just went directly into the bath water. And you kind of think, oh, for fuck's sake. And another thing about baths, actually, another dangerous thing for men, if you're listening. I thought I would have a bath, and I thought, I'll bring her in the bath with me, kind of like bonding session, and so if you're a man and you're sitting in a bath, you've got things that are moving, okay, and baby R&R likes to do lots of kicking, okay, so yeah, that's basically what happened. So we're there, and then all of a sudden I was like, oh, I just literally just can't like breathe. I think we're both gonna drown now because I can't hold you anymore. Had to call for help. Luckily, Mrs. R&R saved the day. But yeah, so again, be careful if you're a man, okay, and you're having a bath with a baby that likes to kick a lot, okay. And again, this is for women, but this is a problem for me as well. Long hair. Okay, so baby R&R doesn't really like grab anything. I'll give her like a toy. She's not really interested. But my hair, she will literally just pull that, like, and she just will not let go. And you think, look, why don't you just grab something else with this kind of like? Yes, exactly. And I was worried about my hair falling out anyway. But now every day she's just got like literally handfuls of my hair in her hands. I think, look, this is not helping. If I go bald now, it's because of you. Yeah, that's the thing. It does fucking hurt. You know, you think it's all fun with a baby and stuff, but you're like, look, joking's over now. Okay, that's just not on. That's not on. So, but I think the women have got an advantage though, because you can tie your hair back. Okay, Mrs. R&R says to me, "Why don't you tie your hair back?" And I think, look, I don't want to look like a total idiot. Okay, I can't be going around with a hairband. Like, I need my baby daughter needs a masculine figure in her life. Already, I'm not a real man with no muscle, so it's bad enough. But if I start going around with a hairband, like, she's going to grow up and just think, like, what's going on here? So I said, look, I can't go around the house with a hairband. And so the other choice is to cut my hair short, but I can't do that. That's my hair is my power. That's all I've got. So there's a big dilemma, a very big dilemma. So another one here is that getting drunk becomes much more difficult, okay, because you've basically got a child to look after. I've actually only done it once, and I wouldn't even say I was drunk. I had about 3 beers. And then baby R&R woke up in the middle of the night. And this was at the weekend when, you know, I do much more as well in the night, because I think give Mrs. R&R like a chance to rest. And I'd had my 3 beers. Baby R&R was going crazy. And then I just feel Mrs. R&R pushing me in the bed, like, get up. And I just think... And I was like, no, she's fine. She's like, she's screaming the house down. So screaming the house down is a nice term. So like, she's going crazy. Like, no, she's just playing. It's all an act. You just go back to sleep. And then the force of, like, you has to go through your body to actually get out of that bed. It's like, I don't know if I'm I don't know if I'm ready for this. I don't know if I can do it. Clarification Charlie tells us a story here about when she was hungover and trying to be a parent at the same time, but unfortunately we have lost the story. That's the thing, 'cause you don't get a day off, do you? And sometimes when you have that hangover, you need to. But Clarification Charlie used some lovely vocabulary there when she said, I didn't think I was going to make it through the day. I didn't think I was going to survive. And also when you said when you're hanging, so when you're hanging, that's when you're just feeling so terrible after. Exactly. Exactly. And then it's just because you don't get that time to rest, don't you? It's like you have to play with the stupid games. But yeah, responsibilities, hey? And so another thing that I've noticed, right? I think I'm the first person to notice this in the world. So obviously, if you've got a baby, there's lots of handing the baby to other people, yeah? And obviously you need to make sure that baby arrives at the destination of the other person. Otherwise, the baby's going to fall and there's going to be chaos, right? So you have to be extra careful and like you kind of almost touch the other person. But when you're passing the baby to a woman, okay, so when I'm passing the baby to Mrs. R&R's mum or sister, I sometimes think I'm accidentally touching their breasts as well, and I don't feel comfortable doing that. And it's a very straight. I've never touched so many women's breasts in all of my life. Yeah, exactly. So, any 16-year-old that wants to touch breasts, just have a baby, okay? Because then you're touching them non-stop. I mentioned only last week as well when I go out with baby R&R, I get so much female attention. It's amazing. But yeah, they don't tell you this. I think I would rather just have no female attention than do that. Now that, in the story you just heard, was get a dog, then you get female attention. But obviously, I'm not interested in that. And even when I was a horny 16-year-old, I wouldn't have been interested. Now, I move on to the last part here, okay? But just notice the moment when Clarification Charlie tells me that she has not been recording the podcast, okay? You can feel the disappointment in my voice. Here you go. So, last one here is watching TV basically goes out the window. Like you can't do it because that's the thing. You really want to watch something, and then the baby's crying, and you think, look, I fucking really want to watch this. Okay, the Europa League final was on the other day. Manchester United were playing. Shut the fuck up. Oh, that's such a blow. That's such a blow. Oh, God. Oh, that's horrible. And that was the end of the episode. That's when we stopped recording, and I, as you just heard, thought, oh fuck. Now, I recorded the outro to this podcast like usual, and I don't know what happened, but my voice sounds extremely strange. I was going to record it again because I sound like an absolute idiot, but I then thought, given how today's podcast has gone, I'm going to leave it there. Just for shits and giggles, as we say in English. So if you say just for shits and giggles, it means you do it just because, okay? Just to have a laugh. So enjoy the outro of this podcast with me sounding like I have inhaled a helium balloon, okay? And the strange thing is, I honestly did not intend to do this. This is just the episode where everything has gone wrong. Here you go. And that was the moment when the podcast ended and my heart sank and I thought, oh fuck, what am I going to do? But I hope you enjoyed the episode nonetheless, which is part of the vocabulary I used at the beginning to say in spite of the problems, let's say. I also want to take this quick opportunity to say a big thank you to Clarification Charlie and all of my friends that help me with the podcast, because they give up their own time and they just do this to help an old friend, me, and provide entertainment to all of you. And, you know, they've all got jobs, they've all got lots of things going on in their lives. Clarification Charlie even has 2 children. but they still always find the time to talk to me and you. So I just want to say big respect to all of them. Quickly, some of the other vocabulary. We had the word humming, which remember is that one. We had the word boogie, to have a dance. We had the word chocolate log, a lovely word to describe a poo. I said that I wanted to try and crack on with the story, so to keep doing it. Anyway, even if, it's difficult, you crack on, you keep going. I mentioned how I'm more clued up now about being a parent, so if you're more clued up, you're more informed. And we also had horny. Horny is a lovely word. Someone that is horny is very sexually charged, let's say, generally 16-year-old boys. But remember, all 16-year-old boys listening, I have given you the secret to finding women, okay? Anyway, thank you all very much for listening. If you've listened this far, you are a true rock and roller. And let me know what you thought of the episode on social media. I post it on social media exactly for that reason, so I can interact with you. So thank you very much for listening. I will see you all again in 2 weeks. But in the meantime, just keep on rocking, baby.
Thanks so much for listening to Rock and Roll English. For more great content and to stay up to date, visit rockandrollenglish.com and facebook.com/rockandrollenglish. We'll catch you next time.